we're so afraid of slavery. Both sides, both black and white people are afraid of it because it's an ugly past and some of those elements and that residue still exist. I think this movie should start that dialogue. I also believe now, since I've seen it with an all-black audience and all white, I'm relieved. And the reason I say this is because this movie is like a gymnastics routine at its highest difficulty, with all the twists and all the turns that Quentin Tarantino could get into, and he lands the movie. With people like Stan Lathan, who's a journeyman and black journeyman director, raved about the film. So we're good. But what I say to, like I said, to our black folks, we are very, very smart. And we're very smart in the way of, we know that if our black audience as a whole is not satisfied, then we're in trouble. But as a whole, they've really enjoyed the film. And like I said, those things are supposed to create dialogue. When you talk about the N-word, the N-word at that time was not a hot button issue. It wasn't a hot button word. That's the way they labeled you. So maybe we get a little insight on how we use it. Even me, I know I use it a lot. Just sometimes I can't even start my sentences out without saying it. So it just makes you think about certain things.
Put it in historical context.
Yeah. So it puts it in historical. And here's the thing: if we hadn't have done it this honest, there's no need to do the film. If you sugarcoated it, it would have been absolutely. It would have been, I think, worse. I think it would have been terrible to sugarcoat.
Yeah, I also think what's great about the film is it's the story of a hero. And in every fairy tale, in order to have a hero, you have to have some dragons to slay. So there had to be the ugliness of slavery in the film so that you understand that Django's rise into his own heroic story, that it's coming from somewhere, that he's up against some really ugly demons. And yet, in that context, in this world, this ugly world of slavery, love allows him to conquer all of that. So we had to be willing to show the ugly stuff so that the hero's journey meant something.
You see, I get the emotional connection, in all honesty, to the story. I'm fully aware that it is fiction. That doesn't mean that I doubt in any way any of the horrific details of history. Yet I find and I feel it would be belittling the horror that the people who really had to endure slavery had to live through. By claiming playing in a movie would be somewhat similar. I'm playing in a movie. I'm not experiencing slavery because, we have to keep the proportion of the extent of tragedy and horror in our awareness. Because if we all of a sudden claim we understand by making a movie, I think we would sort of sidestep a little bit the responsibility of dealing with the real thing.
I use this phrase, the evolution of freedom. I play a slave at the beginning of the year for a year. I'm enslaved. And I got all comic friends, Speedy and them call me, hey man, how you doing? You slaving down there? I see you had on a cotton shirt. Did you pick that? All this crazy stuff I'm going through, right? So I'm going through all this stuff with these dudes because, they're so crazy. But then the next thing you know, I actually play a movie where I play the President of the United States. And it almost speaks to how great this country is, not to be all, sappy, but look at the evolution of freedom, where once there was slavery, and then you have an African-American president who's decent, who a lot of people voted for that weren't black. So you see where we're going. Look at how women and their struggle to vote, and now all of a sudden women are still on their way. And you look at gay marriage, all these different things is the evolution. So you have to show things like this, and we show this Quentin Tarantino does a fantastic thing as a director. I got to speak on this. He shows it in a way to where you can take it. It's like the entertainment value is so high that it, like I said, I won't tell you privately what I said, because I told him, I said, boy, you pull some things off right there, because I was like, I had my speech ready just in case, it didn't let, but, you know what I'm saying? I was like, but he pulls it off, and I think
There were some tough days on set actually where Jamie
yeah.
would lean over and say, "How you doing, Olivia Pope?"
Yeah.
Almost to remind me that who we are, the full spectrum of who we are, is that we came from slavery, but now we can do anything. Olivia is arguably one of the most powerful women in the country.
Yeah.
So to go from somebody who's considered a fraction of a human being to somebody who is pulling the strings in the White House, that's a journey, and we're all of that.